Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, April 20th, and I'm here with another cross-stitch update. I have brought Cinnamon into the room with me, but we'll see if she decides to hop up here and visit with you. Usually she's taking a nap right now, and so since I've been upstairs, she hasn't wandered in, because I usually have the door shut. So, come on, kitty. You want to be part of the video? A lot of you have said you've missed her, so I thought, well, maybe we'll see if she comes in. Meanwhile, let's get on to stitching. Life has been pretty good. We're sort of figuring out the online learning. Yes, hi. We're learning, we figured out if we get my kids' borrowed Chromebooks from the school, if we get them into certain parts of the house, they load better. So here she is. So that's going well. So school is a little bit more smooth. And I got my Color and Cotton Threads of the Month. And you can't see Kitty because there she is. Hi, Kitty. If I sit farther back, she'll come sit on my lap. I got mine a little late because there was a technical difficulty, but so pretty. I'm really happy with these. Taffy is the pink one. I guess I could show you. These are like so pretty, nice spring colors. It's like a sorbet mix, Easter egg mix or something. So really pretty. Rhubarb, nice variegation there, and peach cobbler, which I'm actually thinking of making their Maureen from Stitching by the Lake. She gave a really yummy, really easy peach cobbler recipe on her channel a little while ago, and I'm going to try that. Chartreuse. Chartreuse usually strikes me as being more garish, but this is a nice light spring green, which is nice. And Glacier Blue. Again, lots of pretty subtle variegation, and Taffy. So those are really pretty. So thank you, Angela. Always happy with those threads. And I get the all colors pack. So this isn't working as well because you can't see Kitty. Come here, Kitty. Hi. Yeah, everybody missed you. Yeah, this is Cinnamon. She's 17? I think she's 16. We've been married 17 years and she's 16. So she's very old. But she's still kicking. She's slowing down a little bit, but she's still here and still fluffy, still fun. Okay, so what else did we do? My daughter worked on this just a little bit. This is Trellis and Time School Day Sampler, which we are working on together for her teacher. I was working on my Bloomtopia, and her brothers were busy doing something else that she couldn't do. So I figured, why don't you stitch with me? But I really want, and I was like, well, I suggested she finish up the light blue in the glue bottle that she had started, so because it's the same color in the bluebird. She really just wants to do the bluebird. She doesn't have any interest in finishing this glue bottle, and maybe that's why she didn't want to work on it anymore. So this is what it looked like last time, and how far it is now. Not a whole lot more, because she has a very short attention span when it comes to cross stitch. But she started a tiny bit in the little bird. So, and she may only get the bird. She did express interest in stitching the letters. So we'll see if she wants to do that too. But I'll probably get going on this a little bit more once in a while, but I may just give these out as end of the year presents rather than teacher appreciation at the beginning of May, because they may have something in June at the end of the year where we can come on campus again and see people. So this may or may not be likely, but in the case that it is, it'd be nice to hand these out in person, just in the off chance that there is a possibility to do something in person. And this teacher's birthday is also either the last day of school or close to the last day of school. So it could double as a birthday gift as well. And, so I'll probably not try to work on that to get it done by the beginning of May like I would have under normal circumstances, but these are not normal circumstances. So let's see if I can lower it just a little bit here so you can maybe see a little bit more, Katie. I cut my fabric and got that ready to go for the new Mystery Stitch Along Feels Like Home by Fat Quarter Shop. They gave me the Classic Colorworks pack. There's also a DMC pack, which I believe are out of stock right now, but the last I heard they should be back in stock on April 24th, which is later this week. So if you're looking for that, you can go on the 24th and hopefully they'll be ready again. And then this is my small piece of their Cloud 25 count that they recommend. I'll be doing mine 1/1, so it's a very tiny little piece. It's, I think, 120 by 120 square. So that's the size of it. Shouldn't be too bad. And I may start that. I did get it ahead of time. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get it ahead of time. So I have the pattern now. So I need to have my part done by the 1st, which is when the first part releases. So I'll either start it this week or next week. So I also worked on my temperature tree yesterday and got that cut up a tiny bit this morning because I wanted to finish my string, and so I had a tiny bit left on my needle. Finish that up this morning. Here's my temperature tree, which you can find in my shop. Hello, kitty. And this is what it looked like before, and here it is now. I finished out the April branch, so that's all the way done. And to finish that string, I did like 2 more rows right here, and then I added all the leaves I needed to get caught up. And then I had a little bit more time, so I started another string of brown and did 1 more length down here. So it's almost to the bottom of this, but still probably have another 2 or 3 lengths left to go down there, because I am stitching this 1/1 on 28 count, light blue even weave by Zweigart, the Artiste brand from Hobby Lobby, and I cut my lengths in half. I'm doing, this is Classic Colorworks, maybe? Cocoa Bean, and with Fancy Floss, they're usually in 1 yard lengths, a lot of the brands, and so I'm cutting them in half to do the big chunks of 1/1, because otherwise my thread will start fraying if I'm doing solid stitching with the tiny stitches. A whole yard of floss is too long for that many passes through the fabric. So, but it means that at the bottom of the base of the tree, they're really long stitches, so or long rows, so I can only get like 2 rows before I have to stop. So that's going well, and I will share there was a part of Bloomtopia that released this past week, so I'll share that video here. It should be part 6, and I just finished part 8 yesterday. I worked on part 8, so I'm caught up through there, but I will share the video clip that I made of part 6 right here. Hi, I'm here to share my part 5 of the Bloomtopia Stitch Along. This is by the Fat Quarter Shop, which they're doing as a charity stitch along for Make-A-Wish, and you can donate $15 to Make-A-Wish and be part of this quilty looking pattern, because they have a quilt along as well. And so this is their first year doing a stitch along, and they made this cross stitch look very similar to the quilt they're doing. It releases every 1st and 15th, so April 1st is when part 5 came out. What am I looking for? Here we go. And this is what my part 5 looks like. And I am doing mine 28 count Ivory Lugana 1/1 full crosses. And this is part 5 right here. Mine, these outer flowers are yellow and white, and there's white in the middle, and you can't really see it on my fabric. But it is still nice. It's soft. So you can the white and the yellow in bobbins when I was, you know, they look like they would show up when I'm doing a floss toss. Whoop! Way down there. But they don't show up that well. So I'm not too worried about it, but just a heads up when you're picking your fabric for this one, that's to consider. Some of them may not show up and they don't have outlines, but I think when all is said and done, you can still tell there's something yellow there. So, and when you get close, you can see there's white in there too. So I'm not worried about it. It's a very pretty little symmetrical thing, and it didn't take very long to stitch up. So there's my part 5. It's coming along nicely. It's very colorful, very happy, very springy. All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And I think it's coming along really nicely. I really like the next couple parts that have come out too. So I'm keeping up a little bit ahead of that so that I don't have to worry about it as much during Mania. So now we can get on with what I worked on this week. And Kitty's not really, they're not coming up here as much. It's different than my chair, huh? Yeah. So here she is. She's not sure why she's in here. She's like, what are you doing? She's not on my lap because I keep moving around. But I had you tipped too far forward. You went for a ride. Anyways, so I'll share with you what I worked on this week. First off, I believe I did End of the Ball by Golden Kite. Here's where this one looks like. And I'll be working on this again this week because we have a new prompt in the Enchanted Stitching Challenges group for something with a European designer or a European inspired piece. And this was from a painting by a Spanish designer, a Spanish painter. I do not know how to pronounce his name. It's not written on the cover page, but this is a Spanish painting, which Spain is in Europe. So that counts. So I'll be working on this again this week. I got almost 900 stitches on this, and these are half stitches. But I'm pretty happy with it. I just kept going. I was like, well, one more color, one more color, one more color. I'm like, oh, I guess I should probably be done now. So here's where it is now. And what it looked like last time. And this is on 24 count Congress cloth in like a tan color. 2/1, because there are blends in here. So they're 2/1 half stitches. And following the curtain up here in the corner. And I worked on this last time because it's something that puts me to sleep because of all the dark, boring browns. But really, I had a lot of fun with this. And I was picking colors in this next 10 by 10 square and then carrying them as far as they went. And then I picked the next color in the 10 by 10 square and kept going. I was thinking of picking along the top, but I thought it would be more fun to do everything in the whole square because this was like a big hole and I wanted to start filling that in. I didn't want to leave it there. So I figured I'll probably do 10 by 10 blocks and pick all the colors in that 10 by 10 block and work them through and then move to the next 10 by 10 block and work them through all the way across the top. So that's probably how I'm going to tackle this from now on. There's still more in this 10 by 10 block, so this week that's what I'll work on too. You can see this now. Hi! You're making yourself known again? So this went well. Oh, and this reminded me, this is a needle minder that I made from a button pack that I found at Joann's, I think, and then used E6000 glue to glue the magnets on. I feel like I need more needle minders because I'm starting too many things. So I thought about buying some online, and I just think I want to make some more. I still have some more magnets. I have more glue. So watch this space. I may have some new ones. Try to make some new ones and go through my button stash. See if I can find some more buttons that will make good needle minders, and try to make some from what I have around the house and do that. So I may have some more buttons, more needle minders to show you next week. I also, see, that was project number 1. What was project number 2? Oh, Knitting Woman. I worked on Knitting Woman. I did not get as much done on this project as I wanted to, because I was partway through and I realized my import into Pattern Keeper, the symbol key, wasn't correct. When I had imported some of the golden kites, it has a little trouble importing all the blends. So this particular pattern may have also been updated since I bought my copy, so the symbols were all different. They were in the correct places, but the symbols were different from what the ones on my printed chart were. So they had some of the blends inputted, so I figured it was fine. And then I was stitching, and I did it one symbol that was 30, 31, and then a few more colors later I got to another symbol that was also 30, 31. I'm like, that's not right. There shouldn't be two symbols with the same color. So I found there were several blends that had not been properly imported. They had been imported as solids with the first color of the blend instead of, and so some of the blends had not gotten put in and some of them had. So that had been what confused me at the beginning. So I spent some time going through and fixing my pattern. I did not go back and update my wrong color because it was a small, relatively small amount of stitches, and I didn't want to go back and mess anything up. And it was one of the colors in the blends, so there just won't be quite as much shading in that as there would have been, but it's okay. It is what it is. So this is Knitting Woman by Golden Kite, and this is what she looks like now compared to last week. And so I did maybe 300 and something half stitches, so it was not quite enough for the largest challenge. I could only get credit for the half of the challenge, or the medium goal. But there was one color right on the edge of her hair and a little bit in here that was the color that should have been a blend. And then the next color filled in a lot of this with the solid 30-31. And so there's just a tiny little bit along here that could have been shaded slightly better with a blend, but it's okay. I'm not mad. I'm leaving it and it's fine. And I did a little bit, I did a color in her lips, did a little bit of peach. So not as many holes got filled in their faces as I would have liked, but it's okay. I picked a few colors that were right along the edge of where I hadn't stitched yet and worked those in. So that's where I'm at now with Knitting Woman. This is 22 count, 2 over 1 half stitches. And these are some other homemade needle minders from buttons I got at Joann's. I never show you my needle minders usually, so I'll try to be better about that. I don't remember what the one, Bloomtopia has that one. That's another homemade one. So then I worked on my letter E fairy, which I have the pattern for you to show you now. This is what the original looked like by Nora Corbett. This is the letter E, and I'm doing a color conversion with reds and all of my own flosses. There's like maybe 1 or 2 that are called for. They call for crescent colors, which are now Classic Colorworks. They changed their name. But I decided to pull from my stash and change her to be a red dress fairy and red flowers, because that's a color that this particular niece likes. So I thought, gotta personalize it. So this is for my second oldest niece, for when she graduates from high school in a year and a half, I guess. I have 2 nieces that graduate that year. 2 years from now. This fall, this summer, my oldest niece, the one I did the H for, is graduating. And then in 2 years, I have two nieces. So I want to get this done like this year so that I can work on the next one before that year, because I got to get 2 done. So here's where this is now, along with last time. I focused on the E. So I got this whole part is done being stitched, and this top part is done being stitched, and then this middle part still needs to get filled in with, I had picked more of a green color in here because on the cover it looks like a green, but I didn't like it. It was too Christmassy going with the red, so I took that out and chose Gunmetal by Color and Cotton, which is a fun gray, And the color in the middle here that'll fill in will be the Old Salem Spell by Victorian Motto, which is a nice, pretty gray, dark gray, really dark gray. It's the same color as these swirls. It's a dark gray. We'll be filling this in, and it will also be backstitching the letter just a little bit, and backstitching this jewel, stitch the jewels, and some of the colors came over here as well. So not quite done with this top portion. I was hoping to maybe get there. I think I had 300 stitches on this also, not the 500 I'd wanted, but it would be fun to get all the way down because this is where her wings will be, and they block out. What I'm going to do for the wings will be similar to what I did with the last ones, different than the pattern. The pattern only has a Kreinik outline for wings on these fairies, but I'm going to stitch a color that's similar to the background but a little bit lighter, more purpley, I guess, for the part of her wing that's not covering the letter, and then the part that's covering the letter I'll pick a different color and keep it a 2-strand backstitch, but or 2-strand cross stitch, but I'll add in 1 length of blending filament, just a subtle sparkle, and I like that. I don't want it to be too sparkly because if I tried it on this one, I think I made it 1 strand of floss and 1 strand of floss and 1 strand of blending filament, and so the blending filament showed up a lot more, and it definitely brought out the color of the blending filament a lot more than this one. I think would benefit from less color, more just random sparkle. So I'm going to stick with 2 strands of floss and 1 strand of blending filament, just to give it a little bit of something something. Oh, and this one is a needle minder that was made for me by Julie, somebody who won one of my giveaways a little while back. That's a nice blingy one. And my last one was my new start that I did for Stitching May's birthday. She started Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas on Friday, Saturday time frame. And I started My Story by Jeanette Douglas because she said it's okay if it could be any Jeanette Douglas. So I started here with these specialty stitches. I did again my own color conversion with stuff I had in my stash, which is always fun to play around with. And I did mine in 32 count lamb's wool, which is a alternate called for fabric, and it's a lot darker than what shows up in there. It looks very creamy white in the picture. So some of these, like this tree in particular, doesn't show up that well on here, but I think I'm going to leave it with 1 strand of floss on 32 count. Most of them are specialty stitches, but the cross stitches are going to be 1 strand also. There's it's more light and airy in general, and the fabric shows through, gives it more of a tan, aesthetic, and I like that. So I think I'm just going to leave the color as is and call it good. So this is how far I got on. It's more accurate. And what's still funny is cactus still shows up wrong. The main diagonals here is the color Cactus by whatchamacallit, Color and Cotton, and it is not green. It's tan and gray. So it's not too bad. In the picture I did, and back here it looks green, but it is not green at all. And there's some lighter khaki in the middle, and that definitely blends in with my fabric, but I like the sheen of it that's different than the fabric, and so that's okay. Every tree was a different stitch. These were diagonal something, I don't remember. These are all eyelets with 3 different colors of floss. I don't know how close I can get with it. Maybe if you don't see me, you can see it better. Anyways, I thought that was pretty. I worked on this a little bit more than a day. I didn't want to stop. But I had other things I wanted to finish up. I actually worked on my fairy after I worked on this because I had not yet gotten to it. And I still wanted to work on my Bloomtopia part and my temperature tree. So I was like, oh, I should probably stop. There's other things I want to do with the rest of my week. weekend, so I stopped. But it is very fun. I really enjoyed that, and I hope it will come back out again soon. I thought maybe it would come back out again this week, but there's other things I want to work on this week. Too many good things. So yes, I already showed you End of the Ball. I'll be working on that one for something that's a European designer. Another one you had to relate to one of the characters that Lightning McQueen meets in Radiator Springs, because they're following the Cars movie still in the Enchanted Stitching group. So I want to work on my dragon ride for my son this week. It's my last family piece that I need to do in April. And this doesn't really have anything to do with any of the characters in Cars. But it's for my son. And he likes Guido the best, who's the little blue forklift, who's really fun and silly. And so that is a connection, that my son likes dragons and my son likes Guido, and I'm doing this on blue fabric, which Guido is also blue. So that's how I'm going to relate it to Guido. So I can get this as part of a, here's a side for the sideways next time. That's what it looks like now. And I'm thinking, just to make it easy on myself, I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and just finish the border, this outside part, which will give me plenty of stitches, I'm pretty sure. And it'll be something easy to work on either today, which when I sometimes don't have a lot of time, or when I visit with my sister on my call tomorrow. We'll see, I might play Minecraft with her instead. We'll have to wait and see. But I thought finishing that border outline will be a nice, easy thing to work on this week. So probably today, because on filming days, I don't have a lot of extra brain power because there's a lot trying to get everything that I normally need to do in the day, plus all the editing and uploading and everything. It's nice to just sit down and do something kind of mindless. So, and this is a cute little needle minder of a dragon that Belinda Aussie Stitcher sent me, because she knew I was going to be working on this project. And it's orange and yellow and red, which is my son's favorite colors, is orange. So this is perfect. And I don't even think she knew that. So that was fun. So that's that one. And another one is one that work on something that's so beautiful that you had to start it immediately because of how Sally saw the view from the top of the hill, and she saw the whole valley, and it was so beautiful she had to stay in that little town. Where's my thing? Almost every single project could probably qualify for this prompt, because all of them I fell in love with, and otherwise I wouldn't be stitching them. So I did want to work on April Fairy by Hannah Lynn in April sometime. And this is one of them that is, I saw other people working on this one or other ones by her and just like, oh, those are so pretty. The other one that was a top contender was Enchanted Alphabet by Lavender and Lace, and I was pretty torn. That's this one. I thought about that one too. But really there's like a lot of these that could qualify for that. But since I wanted to work on this month, I thought I will pull her out. So here she is. She's on 28 count Rose Monaco. That's a good representation of the fabric. Yeah, it washes out when I get closer, but this is 1/1 on 28 count, and I was doing a very meticulous line by line diagonal with this. And now that I have Pattern Keeper, I don't know if I want to keep doing that. I don't know. It looks nice, but I don't know that it would look that much nicer if I just stitched it the way I normally do. Because it's 28 count, it's already, you know, very full in there. So I don't know. What do you think I should do? Should I continue to do a line by line, very meticulous, one stitch at a time kind of thing, or just go to town? And I think once I have Pattern Keeper open and I see these colors just kind of flowing, because this is it's more of a coloring book style pattern, you know, where there's black outlines and color fill-ins. I think I'm going to want to just follow the colors and just go with it, and I don't think I'll be able to stop myself. So that may be what I do. And this is another one that was a button that I made myself. I believe there's a shank on the back that my husband probably helped me cut off so I could glue the magnet to it. So I'll be working on that one. Lots of full coverage this week. So I'll have End of the Ball, April Fairy, and my last one, a stitching shelf. The only one that's not full coverage is Dragon Ride. So that'll be kind of fun to do lots of full coverage this week. The last prompt was for something that took you in an unexpected direction. And this one definitely took me in an unexpected direction because I wasn't originally planning on stitching it this way. If you saw me in Stitch Mania last year, what I did last year was I did Monogamous Mania on this piece and tried to work on a little vignette every day. It didn't quite work out like that, but I ended up following the bookshelves and working like a length of bookshelf color and a color in a different vignette every day or every couple days, I think. I don't remember. And I got a big grid, worked across the whole thing. I still have a lot of parked threads up here in the corner where I started. So there is the possibility that I'll work in parked threads this time, but I think I might want to do more cross country all over the place to get more of the grid going. So we'll see. When I pull it out, it'll take me a while to get it plugged into Pattern Keeper, which I'll hopefully do earlier in the week, because this one will come out on Friday for the Full Coverage Fanatics Easter Egg Hunt Challenge, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this one, they had, I forget now, I forgot to look it up. They had like 4 different things. You could pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 projects to go with these prompts. And this one fit all of them. It was like spring colors, cute animals, something sweet, and something else. Flowers, maybe? Which this had all of those things. So I thought, I'll just do this one and we'll see how it goes. So this is on 28 count tea-dyed Monaco that used to be available on, I think, 123 Stitch in this large size. It's a yard long. I don't think they sell it anymore, but this is another homemade needle minder from a button. And this is where this is at now. I don't know. Can you see all of that? How far over do I need to be? So I may have to do before and afters of the whole screen because you're not going to get that on the side. So I do have all of these parked threads that I could start working in. But I think I might want to keep working on the shelves and the different things that help give structure to this piece. So I will work on that this week and see how far I get. All right, that's enough. I'll have to roll that up later. So Kitty decided to finally settle down. She's sleeping on my lap. And I think that's all to share with you. So one last thing real quick. I wanted to kind of share a book I've been reading. This is called Emergency Rations, Surviving the Struggles of Life. And it's by Philip DeCourcy. He was one of the he was my pastor when I first came down here to come to college in Southern California. So and then he moved to Ohio and was a pastor there, and now he's back in Orange County. So I'm not able to go to his church, but I really love his sermons. I listen to his podcast when I can, and so this was his book, and it's really, really good. I love how he phrases things. It's, in some ways, it's very deep with lots of scripture references and theology included, but it's very personable and practical the way he can apply it. So I love how that works. He has like 1-page spread, little devotionals throughout this whole thing. Like each one is just one, front and side to side, and there's different chapter subjects. So really applicable for right now. And I'm reading this exclusively where I'm just in the 20 minutes, half hour I have before bed, I'm just reading as many as I can get through. But it would be perfect to add to something else you're doing, your book you're already reading or your devotions you're already doing. Just do one little thing every day and be a nice little devotional, I guess. But it's really good. Highly recommend it. With that all to say, I think that's everything. I think that's everything I have to share with you today as far as stitching. So, oh, the other thing too, if any of you are stitching the Pray Well and Stitch freebie that I put out, feel free to use the hashtag Pray Well and Stitch on Instagram or something, and then I could see your progress. That'd be really fun to see. I decided to follow that hashtag in case anybody else uses it. Because then I can see what colors you're choosing and what fabrics and all of that fun stuff. So with all that to say, I think I'm done. So have a wonderful week. Hope you enjoy what you're working on this week, and happy stitching. Bye.